Illuminati Congo is a musician, hip hop artist, infusing different styles and genres of his music together to create a one of a kind, unique offering of sound and teachings and vibrations to the world. He is an author of many books, including the book Tantric Rainbow Body Breathing. He has a vast knowledge of rainbow body and light body and has been studying and researching them for many, many years. Illuminati Congo is a dear brother of mine, and he's actually the first person I reached out to about being interviewed for this documentary series, for I knew his knowledge on light body and rainbow body was so vast, so many years of studying and researching and doing practices around light body and rainbow body. So please enjoy Illuminati Congo. Here we are with my brother, Illuminati Congo. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Oh, thank you for being and giving opportunity for us to have a fun conversation around things we love.
Indeed, indeed. I got some questions I've been really wanting to ask you. We've touched on this a little bit, but I want to dive a little bit deeper. So let's just jump into it, yeah?
Yeah.
So when did you first discover or hear about the rainbow body, and what got your interest in it and your path?
In Rasta, I used to always hear about the rainbow circle throne from the book of Revelations. We would speak about that a lot in Rastafari culture, in our reasonings or in our songs. Burning Spear has things related to it, and even Bob Marley has a song where he's talking about becoming rainbows as well. I forget which song that is. Rainbow Country.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Rainbow Country. So as a Rasta, I've been Rasta since little. So these things, and like the flag of Rasta, the red, gold, and green, it's called the rainbow flag as well. So that is one way that I was first introduced to the concept. That is the same aura that you would see around the icons and the iconography in the Ethiopian saints and in the saints of the Christian church universally. And so that's how I was first introduced to this idea that there's some type of multicolored, sort of like Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Joseph in his multicolored jacket. Like these things was all sort of implanted maybe through that tradition in my mind. And then I came across other writings about people talking about the rainbow aura of the body, and even touching on rainbow body. It wasn't necessarily speaking on anything Tibetan at that point, but was coming across people describing the energy body as a body of these colors as well. And so that would be my first introduction to sort of like thinking about it before I even came across the in-depth information in Tibet that has been shared. And when I say in-depth, maybe it's not as in-depth as we'd like, and that's why this documentary is taking place.
Right. Yeah. So when did you come across the Tibetan rainbow body and hearing about the cases that this is actually something going on to this day?
Well, I was introduced to physical immortality as an idea very early, and as well. And so rainbow body has came up in that discussion. It comes up in that discussion often. some people might consider it physical immortality.
Right.
You know, you can use those words depending on how the context of those words for you, how you define those words. Some people would say it's not, but it was the idea of physical immortality that actually I started seeing a whole bunch of different ways that people allegedly disappeared physically, where their body just turned into light, or turned into the diamond body, or turned into a sound body. Ramalinga Swami is one from southern India, who in the late 1800s, you know, many witnesses said they saw him transform into a ball of light, and he would always talk about physical immortality. He wrote treatises and scriptures on physical immortality, specifically using those words. And then for him to allegedly display this transformation into this ball of light for people to see, that sort of can put a context also on those words, physical immortality, that it could mean the similar thing as rainbow body. So I've came across the idea also through India, through yoga. Much of what we get from Tibet is intricately wrapped up with the tantric systems of India.
Yeah, because we see it across all different types and forms of spirituality from all around the world. All have their own name for it, all have their own form of this type of phenomena, experience, what have you.
Right, right.
So, so do you feel that this turning, when one dies, one turning into light or one disappearing, do you feel that it is something that is a practice, like it is an actual practice, like there's a rainbow body practice, there's a light body immortality practice that's specific? Or do you feel that it's like a byproduct of just how one lives, or both?
You could say it's both, and probably even more, and neither. It's God's grace and mercy is the first thing I would say through the language and the path that I use. But it takes living in a certain way. You do have to live in a certain way, and cultivate a certain mindset uh, for for its uh, for its development. It from what I've seen in the lives of the people that I've uh, read about or heard about it occurring, that there were practices that seem to be sort of central to it occurring. But also there, you could not know any of those practices and it can still occur. That's related to that grace and mercy, but it's also related to just the natural temperament and inclination of a person uh, as well. As far as being able uh, to practice something, let's look at it like this: the Tibetan prayer flag, those 5 colors of the Tibetan prayer flag are the 5 elements.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 elements are said to what make up our whole universe. And so it's theorized that having a practice with those 5 elements daily that make up the whole physical body, and which make up the colors of the rainbow body, that having a daily conscious practice with those elements could actually help assist one in that cultivation. In the word cultivation, attainment, these things don't properly describe it, because it's sort of like the natural essence of our soul. It's who we are,
Yeah.
in our innermost being. And so there's nothing we have to do to attain it. It's more about just stripping off the layers that are interfering with that. And through God's grace, through love, through relationships, because relationships help. Like, a lot of people think you got to go away and be on your own, and just be a hermit, and there is benefit to that. Don't get me wrong, but relation, and you'll be in relation wherever you are. You can't get away from relation, but that is another place where we learn about our aura, where we learn about our energy body, and in our rainbow body, the rainbow body, our soul is definitely intimately linked with what people would call the pain body. So the pain body is like our reactions to the things, the circumstances, what arises in our life. And when we react to those things and hold anything other than just be God's presence, just be that pure presence,
Mm-hmm.
it creates tensions in this energy body, resistance, and those things come from birth trauma, religious trauma, all types of traumas that we've experienced, and that's sort of what covers up the soul. As a baby, you might be able to see that they're sort of rainbow body-ish when they first get here, and it's sort of what we accumulate that is covering that up.
Yeah. I had a chance to see Dr. Robert Thurman in person here in Portland. He came just to do an open question forum, and I asked him, I'm like, what is the Tibetan rainbow body? And it was right when my son was born, Isa. He was probably 6 months, and my wife was holding him next to me, and he's like, what is the rainbow body? Your wife's holding one next to you.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, I've never read that anywhere or heard it anywhere, but when you meditate on it, you come to similar revelations of words that might be able to somewhat describe it.
So the shrinking, when some of them, because there's technically 3-4 forms, right? Depending on how you look at this, there's the shrinking of the body at the time of death, when one, quote unquote, vital signs have stopped, and then they stay in that form. Or there's the shrinking of the body, and then they disappear, leaving hair, fingernails, what have you.
Maybe
and then
teeth.
there's just complete disappearance, vanish without even the shrinking process, which can even happen as
sometimes they leave a shrine. Sometimes a shrine is left in back too, like a gold version of them or something.
Exactly, right. Or they put their handprints or footprints in rock, like Padmasambhava. Supposedly they said he just disappeared without even the death experience. He just in front of his disciples or his students, which I heard all of them also did that. So what do you feel that is, that whole, the shrinking thing, the all the different occurrences that happen with, there's been reported, there's music of angels in the air, there's the perfume, there's the scents, obviously the rainbows appear. What do you think that's about?
I think it's different styles.
Different flavors.
It's different styles based on how a person's mind works, because everyone's mind isn't going to think about things exactly the same. Everyone isn't going to, it's just, that's not how things work. we do things differently. And so I think it's just one of those things where, okay, if you're in a tradition where you're seeing it happen with the nails and left behind in that, then your mirror neurons sort of get attuned to that, and that's sort of the one that you might lean to. It might more naturally happen. That's not to say that a different one might not happen, but I think it's just like tradition and what we think and how we are introduced to it, and how we expand upon it after we're introduced to it.
So it's just different flavors, different styles, different cultures' experience of it.
That's what I got from Robert Thurman's book on Masters of Enlightenment, or the Mahamudra, the 84 Siddha book, where he speaks about all these different ways, 84 different ways that each of the siddhas attain their rainbow body. And to be fair, I don't, some of the ways that are being spoke, they're all different. They're all very different in the way that it occurs. And I don't know if, like, what the actual state is, if everyone attained to the same exact style, or if they attained to different styles, because the way that they did it was all very different according to their own way that they lived their life. And so the way I received it when I first was reading that book was that it looked a little different, and maybe somebody's disappeared, somebody's might still kick it here though. It might happen, and they transform, but they're just still here kicking it, like in a transform way.
Like Babaji, maybe something like that.
Yeah, like a Babaji or Goraknath. Like that's one of them that's mentioned in there. Goraknath in many of the Nath Siddhas, the first 9 Nath Siddhas. Yeah.
And what book is this again?
It's
Is this the one you told me about, the 80? Yeah, okay. I haven't gotten that yet.
Masters of Mahamudra, and there's another one too. I think
that has like art. That has art.
A
like
big one, yeah. Masters of Enlightenment, yeah.
So can you speak to that a little more? So what basically in that book is, it's describing different people and their experiences of reaching this form of, I guess we can call it enlightenment,
Yeah.
So basically different people, different walks of life, who aren't just doing the aesthetic monk deep in the cave. It's basically, can you speak a little more to?
Yeah, I'll read some of the names of the chapters. Siddha Dobipa, the wise washerman. So it was a person who, they wash stuff, and somehow through their washing of things, they use that as their practice of Dharma that actually brought them to the attainment. Then you have the Siddha Kalapa, the handsome madman. The Siddha Ejogi, the rejected wastrel. So it's just showing all these different backgrounds. The Siddha Dukandi, the scavenger. It mentions, a prostitute. Here's the lucky beggar. The great renunciate, that's Tilopa. The Siddha Styalipa, the jackal yogin. It's so many different styles in backgrounds and histories of the people's lives. And some were just normal, regular householders, and they just used their life and what they did in life. If you're constantly washing the clothes, you do your mantra. Do your breath work with that.
Yeah.
engage your consciousness with God as you do whatever work you're doing, so fully, be fully immersed, intensely immersed in whatever it is you do. And so I found that was one of the greatest things I got from this book, was seeing all the different ways. And actually, this is by Keith Dowman. This ain't by Robert Thurman.
Uh,
This is by
okay.
Keith Dowman. I'm
So
sitting here tripping.
Robert Thurman has a copy, or he thought Robert Thurman wrote that, maybe?
I thought Robert Thurman
Okay.
wrote it. I got them mixed up. I just looked right now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is great, man, because this is my kind of big question that I want to ask everyone that I'm interviewing, is because it seems to me, at least the parts that are recorded and witnessed, that people who are attaining or experiencing having this rainbow body type death experience, that so many of them were ascetics and monks and sadhus and spent 12 years in the caves. Like I have this book. I don't know if you've seen this. It basically says step by step what he did to attain the rainbow body. And it talks about what he did in dark retreat, day retreat, fasting, tantric sex, all these different steps to what he did and what he taught his disciples and students of how to practice the rainbow body. But it's so, cultural to them. It's so deep, and I feel almost impossible unless you have word-to-word transmission.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my main question is, and what this book is showing is that these people in this book who are living, quote, like maybe mundane, ordinary lives, actually had some sort of a light body death experience.
Yes.
So
but they did it because they completely immersed in their normal life, in
right.
that consciousness.
So one living like we do with children and in Chicago and Portland can get to the same awareness state of being. You feel that that's possible?
If it wasn't possible, then the whole underlying idea of and the natural great perfection would be invalidated. The whole thing would be invalidated if you can't do it everywhere, because everywhere is the natural great perfection.
Yes, yeah. Have you heard of anyone in our modern times experiencing this or having this type of, realization, death experience?
Well, the closest one that I mentioned was that late 1800s one, which was Ramalinga Swami in southern India.
Okay.
And so, as far as in our time now, I would be amiss to not mention Haile Selassie, because
Yeah.
There's never been a true report of his, a true evidence or proof of his body being dead. And there are people who mention, who saw him disappear from the last cell that he was held at, and then that's when the stories of the death were made up, because they didn't, if you had someone under arrest and they just disappear, that's gonna make the people start thinking something. You know what I'm saying? The people are gonna be like, wait, he just disappeared? Like, no, they could think it's time for an uprising back,
right.
to who knows. So I can't go in depth on that. But that is one person in our recent history who there is thought around that, because even Yogi Raj, who of the Kriya, of a Kriya lineage, on Babaji lineage, he said that he met Haile Selassie in
Right.
1983. That's why I can't leave that one out. And then there's other people as well. Like what's the lady's name? Annalise Guerin.
Mm.
From she was Mormon. There's people who say she did. There's people who say she didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of times in the modern world, the people who are around a lot of people, even if they do it, there'll be enough people around to say no, they didn't do it,
Right.
because they don't. It's not in their culture to think that it could happen. So in Tibetan culture, some of these yogic cultures, because they know it could happen, the word gets out, and it's more like, okay, there seems to be more evidence there. But sometimes in the Western or in this modern times, if it occurs, there's going to be a lot of controversy still around it, because there's always people who can see it occur, but they see something totally different occur, because we're attuned to so many different ways of thinking about things now. But I could probably name a bunch more people too if I start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just seems like it's something that's so hidden, quote unquote, like it's like
obscure.
there's no
Yeah.
videos of the actual process. There's some photos, but it seems like it's something that is hidden, at least with these
Yeah.
cultures that have a deep history about it. So
Hmm.
do you feel that it is something that people are practicing? And if so, what would be the purpose? Why do it? Like, is it for the people they leave behind? Is it because maybe something happens if we do have that type of dissolving back into the Alex experience when we leave the body? Like,
Well, I know I'm interested in it because I want to just keep kicking it with everybody. No matter what side you're on, this side, that side, left side, right side, heaven, hell, wherever you at, any dimension. I just want to be able to keep kicking it, and I think we're destined to be able to keep kicking it. I think Rainbow Body is like, uh, if there's a thing called evolution, where we're advancing, getting
right.
stronger and better, in to get to a certain point. uh i think I think it leads to a rainbow body type of thing, and that that's why I'm into it. I think people practice it as well, if they're specifically practicing because they're like, yo, I want to attain rainbow body, or I want to let the rainbow body flourish from within. Maybe there's different motivations.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to die. Maybe they know there's more than physical death, and they want, the same way people do lucid dreaming, attempt to stay lucid in their dreams. They're like, yo, I want to keep this whole, even the physical, I want to keep every part of my being lucid.
Yeah.
uh is physical is one of them words that people might not, they might see it as a dual, as another side of the spirit, but I don't. Physical is spiritual, spiritual is physical. They're one and the same. You look at water, it looks like the same type of stuff. When people try to draw a spirit, it look like water. You look at fire, it looked like a spirit.
Yeah.
It looked like that. The way you see through it, it's substantial, but it's not. It's like fire look like air. You can't even see it. In breathing is called spirit, in spiritus. Like you get the word spirit in breath. And then the earth, if you look at crystals and things like that, when a crystal forms, in a shape like this on its own, this one isn't the best example of the shape protruding through, but when these mathematics protrude through on their own of dodecahedrons, icosahedrons, and octahedrons, and it's like you see in these symmetrical patterns showing themselves forth from deep in the earth, the atomic structures are like sort of fractalizing out into what we're seeing as crystals. We're like, oh, okay, there's this looks spirit, this look like spirit, you know, the whole thing, the whole physical matter is just spirit in all these different forms.
Yeah.
It's spirit in form.
Yeah.
And so we're already there. And I think maybe people just like, yo, I want to dissolve the barrier between the physical and the spiritual and be in complete unity consciousness. And that's what the rainbow body looks like to me. It's a form. It is a form. And what is form? Is it spiritual form? Well, spirit is undifferentiated. Spirit is everywhere. Spirit is equally and evenly distributed through everywhere. So when it turns into a form, there's some type of physicality to it. There's a form to it. Let's throw physical out the window. Let's just say form. Form and formlessness. You know what I'm saying? When you're looking at rainbow body, you're looking at a form. And so I think it's people that understand the importance of having a form, of like formlessness is cool. It's one part of it. But we're not trying to be gone. Like we're already gone. That's our emptiness. But now we're attempting to make our form, form and formlessness. It's just bringing those two sides to one unity consciousness, original wholeness. That's what I see rainbow body as.
It's beautiful, man. Yeah. So it's just like another form, just another body, another vehicle.
Yes.
You have a book, Tantric Rainbow Body Breathing. Can you speak to that? And is this something kind of you have a goal to experience? Like, because you wrote this, can you kind of talk about the book and then your personal approach to this? Yeah.
When I saw that prayer flag and that it was made up of all those elements, and that the rainbow body is made up of these elements, it was the book, basically, the information was like, yo, speak about it, write about it, because even the word tantra, the tantric just tantra has many meanings. One of them is to weave or to braid together. Another one is unbroken or continuous. And that's the type of breath work that I do, is I connect my breath. So it's continuous, it's unbroken. There's no pause between the inhale and the exhale. So as I'm doing this, I'm like, yo, the main thing that's keeping us here, invigorated, animated, the breath, it can be done in a connected, unbroken way. So that is like the easiest first way to approach Tantra, to approach Chi, to approach prana, is just keep that breath flowing. And it sounds so simple, but you try to do it try to keep your breath consciously connected for a whole hour, and you finna be out your mind psychedelically blitzed after 10 minutes. You're not gonna know what to. And when you feel that bliss start coming on you, like, oh, what is this? And you find that there's this bliss inside of the breath, inside of the elements, and you can start experiencing your energy body, your rainbow body. Any experience with your aura is experience with your rainbow body. It doesn't have to be such a hidden thing. Any experience with our emotions is experience with our rainbow body. And so as we're dealing with our emotions and learning how to keep them, the energy and motion flowing that comes up in our body so that things can be resolved instead of resisted, the energy can flow through our body. And as it does, if that's just you're naturally going to have a colorful,
Yeah.
exuberant aura because you're not resisting the energy that's flowing. So that started coming up in my practice, just through sitting with fire, sitting with in the bathtub every day, doing those practices. I'm telling you, like being with fire, earth, water, air every day in space in a conscious way, as a ritual, but casual. It doesn't have to. That's how my book is. My book is casual. I don't use a bunch of Tibetan words. I don't say anything that's complex. Like a little kid could understand the book, and that's why I wrote it, because I have read a lot of things related to it, built with, lamas, teachers, people who deal with it, and it can seem complicated,
Right.
but my teachers are simple. That's why I F with the teachers I do, because they're similar like me. I don't need the complexity will take care of itself. Unless I'm drawn to focus on something that's complex because that's just what I love to do, I'm not going to do it. But if I do love to do it, it won't be complex no more because I love it. So that's how I don't have to ever have any complexity in my life. Is I only work with what's simple and what's easy for me because I love to do it. Like if I love working on a computer, that's not going to feel complex to me. It's going to feel like, oh man, I love this. Okay, just get these instructions, figure out how this connects with this, do this. But, oh, this is the problem. Okay, I worked through all these problems. Let me see if this could be the problem. It's like if you love doing something,
Right.
it's going to be simple for you. And it's the same thing with Rainbow Body. If you love the ideas around it, some of them that might seem more complex, they won't be complex after a while of just sitting with them, talking to a few people. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I love Rainbow Body. This is a little complex. I'm gonna sit with a few people, see if this shit could get simpler for my understanding, and I could make a
You're gonna
simpler
say.
documentary for other people's understanding. And so that's a part of it. Simplifying the process. It's not meant to be complex, but you can only simplify it if you love it, and if you love it, you're gonna make it easy.
Yeah. And where you're at with it, right? Like you and I agree. Like I simplify as much as I can in my life, which is one reason I'm doing this documentary is because, like, for example, like this book, it just seems like so like complex and mechanical and kind of like there's this step and this step and this step, but
Yeah.
maybe this was written, I don't know, like a while ago, and maybe that's what was needed for certain
Mm-hmm.
folks, where they're at, where
Mm-hmm.
their mind's at, where their karma's at, that certain people might need these
Mm-hmm.
different types of tools and experiences. And some
For,
people,
for
depending on where we're at, need the more simplified form because we're just there and ready to experience that.
for sure. Like one of my lamas he often teaches a class, Glenn Mullen. He does a class called Milarepa's Easy Way of Enlightenment. And
Okay.
in Tibet, there are different easy paths of it,
Right.
like easier ways. Like Dzogchen, it's just sky gazing. one of the main practices that open
Yep.
us to rainbow body is just gazing, just keeping your eyes open
Yeah.
and being with what is,
Yep.
cutting through any of the falsehood of the thoughts and the senses and passions related to what is being observed. And so even the whole process in Tibet, like you have that one book there that's super complex, and I guarantee you that all of the stuff in there is legit. It's legit shit to dive into. But you could also go to the other side where
Exactly.
it's all you need is and the sky and
Yeah.
compassion. And don't ever reject one for the other. Don't ever be like, no, all I do is and look at the sky. I don't need
Yeah.
that book. I'm not gonna look
Yeah.
at that book. No, that's not humble. That's not learning from the masters. Don't ever be like, oh no, it could never be that simple. You actually need these steps. Like there's a time for it all. Even now, there may be a moment in your life where you're like, yo, I need some hardcore instruction right now in order to like reorganize my mind, my habits, my day to day. And so I'm going to do this sadhana the way that has been set out in here. And there's benefit to that.
Yeah. There's a monastery, a nunnery in Tibet called Gebchek Gampa. It's these nuns that have this unbroken lineage from nunnery of these women passing on Dzogchen, Mahamudra, all these different teachings, and they're in a very remote place, I think, in eastern Tibet. And almost every nun who dies there has a light body experience. And this documentary guy, this guy went there, which is, it's so, you got to fly to the nearest airport, then you got to take a Jeep, then you got to take a horse, then you got to walk. So it's very, very remote. And he went there and he interviewed some of these nuns, and he basically asked them, like, how do you attain the light body? And she said, abandon all effort, find the silence beyond thoughts, and then simply remain, and the body will dissolve into light. She said that's the simplest form that you could experience it, is that when you go beyond thoughts, you abandon effort, find the silence beyond the mind, right, the thoughts, and then just be.
Mm-hmm. That is sound to me. And you can do that in ways. There's other ways, like in the Christian tradition, it would be where you ceaselessly pray. That's how it would be described there. It's emptiness as well, because it's a single thing. You're just praying. That's the only thought that's going on is prayer. And I focus on that too, on the links with some of the other traditions, because there are so many saints who attain similar things in those traditions. And so it's good to know that you don't have to be a certain religion or a certain anything for it to happen. You just got to have love, faith, and abandon all them passions.
Have a certain level of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Too. Which I think a lot of these practices throughout the different traditions, I feel like it's helping people get to that place where they can sit and they can do nothing and they can experience what it's like to not identify with the thoughts and to cut through, that some of us need.
to sit in a cave for 12 years, and some of us need to fast, and some of us need, like, there's all these different recipes.
Same thing the Bible says, come unto me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Go to God, God gives you rest. God gives you the relaxation, the peace, the emptiness, the peace that surpasseth all understanding.
Would you feel that psychedelics and even cannabis are just in this realm of talking, are just like a tool for one to get to that space that can allow the light body to flourish? Like, how do you feel psychedelics and cannabis have an effect on all this that we're talking about?
They can be. The breath is super important when utilizing any of those things, so that you can really process with it. Like psychedelics and cannabis, these things can help one process their emotions and be and cut through past the influx of thoughts. But they can also numb a person and make them think they've done the work, and delude a person. So it's really, and that's with anything though. Even information can do that. You can get a piece of information and be deluded and think you've done all the work just because you know something. And so it's not really about the substance. It's more so about how people are thinking, and how they're conducting themselves with such things. And you never want to make anything a crutch or what you rely on for your experience of God. You know, you can have helpers. You can have helpers in that, different saints, different plant ally friends, brother acacia, you know, and sister prairie grass. But you don't want to make them, you know, your Christ. You know, Christ is within. Booty, Buddha, shake your booty.
Oh man. Yeah. So is this something you're kind of playing with your own personal life? Like, do you have like not a goal, but like a desire to attain? I don't know what other word to use, but attain, but like this type of
to let it unravel.
Unravel, you know?
Yeah, I do. I have the desire to let it spiral out from my heart, because it is, I have a desire for life. I have a desire for more life, more love, more relationship, and more consciousness, more service, more ability to respond deliberately. And so that's another balance too, of where I desire to be the director of my experience, but I also just want to be a vessel for what the infinite mind, infinite love, and infinite being spurs me on to. And so I think that the impulse in me for rainbow body or physical immortality comes straight from God, straight from infinite intelligence. Jesus did it. You know, you got the book where they're comparing the Francis Tissot book, Rainbow Body and the Resurrection, where they're comparing Jesus' resurrection and rainbow body. Whatever the case, Jesus did it. Milrepa, Bhamasambhava, Enoch, Melchizedek, Selassie. You have many who did it, and I don't think it's only through God's grace. It's only through God's will that it happened. It's not through a vain will of man, of a transhumanistic wish. No, this is sort of the impulse that all life has. Life has a impulse to want to live, and where there is death and renewal, transformation, there's still life. Life isn't the opposite of death. Birth and death are, you know, the two sides of that. But life is what contains them all. But you can't have death or birth without the one thing that's life. So for me, rainbow body is life itself. Rainbow body is life. It's not birth and death. It's just we're born, but we can actually be received into greater life by bringing forth, by allowing God, love, compassion, and livication to bring forth the rainbow body, which is the natural impulse of all life, of every point and particle of creation is looking to be deified to this extent, according to the scriptures, according to biblical scriptures, according to Sastra, according to Dharma. You can find this idea all over the place.
You've mentioned immortality a lot. Like, what does that mean to you? And do you feel that these beings that are immortal wear their physical body, or they keep coming back as far as immortal? Because in a way, we're all immortal, right? But these beings like Babaji and Gorgonath, like, do you feel that they're the same, made up of us? Like, they're human like us? Or are these, you think, beings that are not the same as us, maybe from like other planets or such?
I see it. They're just the same.
You think they're the same?
Yeah. We're just the same. We're made up of the same fire, earth, water, air, and
even if
space.
they're not like the same human race type of.
Yeah, even if they're not, but I do see if you have arm, leg, arm, head, which spells Allah, ALLAH, arm, leg, arm, head spells. If you got them five, if you that, and that doesn't say if you're missing any of that, you're less, but that's the basic structure that we was just talking about too. Of it's like this five here is the fire, earth, water, air, and space, and five elements. If you got this structure, you're made in the image and likeness of the one. And there's no difference between us and the one. There are differences that we can make distinctions about. And it is important to be able to know the difference between the intelligence that is the all then our own locality, and which is completely filled with the all. Like if you take a piece out of a hologram, all of the information of the whole is in the hologram. The same thing like Rumi said, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in a drop. We do have the whole contained within us, but the difference is that there are times when that one whole decides to pop up here and not have any forgetfulness of those are called like avatars. They didn't have to do any attainment to become realized or anything. They came with the same wisdom and attitude of that one that we all are, but most of us are covered over. Almost all of us are covered over naturally through these things, but every now and again through grace and mercy, that one pop up in order to, according to the Bhagavad Gita, it says to reestablish relationship with my devotees and to remove the miscreants, to remove those who is fighting against people and causing disaster on the earth. And so you've seen this in the histories. Even Buddha is one of these appearances as well, in according to the yogic traditions. So so yeah, I see those beings as they're one with us. The difference may be in ascending and descending. Maybe they're descending masters and we're ascending. They come here. The avatar is a descent of that wisdom. Whereas
help us ascend.
Yes. But really, once you ascend, then you realize it's all about down here. It's not about all up there. That's an important point too. That's why there's a thing called bodhisattva. Because it's not about there. It's about being completely present here. And that's also another thing that inspires Rainbow Body, because that is us being completely present. Our Rainbow Body manifesting here in relating here is us being completely present. So that is why I am on the path of cultivating it.
Having little ones helps a lot with that, huh?
Yeah.
Having children.
Yeah, it does. They are little gurus, and then they grow to big gurus, and then you just keep learning. You just keep learning with, from, and teaching together.
Yeah, man. Wow. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for this conversation. This was absolutely delightful. Much love, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure to build with you.
Energy, there ain't nobody. Illusory, transform to rainbow body. Clear light shining, calmly abiding. Great perfection, rainbow body. Empty, there ain't nobody. Illusory, transform to rainbow body. Clear light shining.